Jeff and Jeremy.
We've talked about HOAs before.
Been a while.
Laguna Hills. I think there's more to this than what he says it is. But this guy Steve Bloom, he had goats in his backyard. He had 7 blue maize goats. I don't know what those are, but that's a goat, I guess.
They're good at eating weeds down. Like, you got a weed problem, annihilation.
Great for wildfire control, right? And it's in Laguna Hills, so it could be a problem. He's facing a lawsuit from his homeowners association because he built a taller fence to protect his goats. He lost 7 of his goats before raising his fence size from 6 foot from a 6-foot fence to an 8-foot fence. Now, he also added blinking lights and installed a 45-degree angled extension at the end of the 8-foot fence, another foot to stop. Like a coyote tries to climb a fence and then it gets hit in the head with the thing, and they're going to be like, And he also added those blinking lights as well. And that kept the coyotes completely out of the yard. It worked. Maybe he went to AI and he said, how do I keep coyotes out from eating my goats? Because I've had 7 of them eaten. And they said, put these, they call coyote rollers, on top of your fence. HOA filed suit because he failed to seek prior approval. His wife, Karen, does not understand this because she says the tennis court in their housing tract, they have a fence that's 15 feet high. So if they have a 15-foot high fence to keep tennis balls from going out of the tennis court, why can't they have a 9-foot high fence to keep coyotes from coming in and eating their goats?
Good
She
question.
says it's really insensitive to compare the life of a goat to that of a tennis ball. Good point by Karen.
I have some questions, though, as Judge Judy. So is his fence impeding anybody's view, like neighbor-wise? Because I'm sure where they put the tennis courts, it's probably in the center of the development. It's not blocking any views. It's not, it's just, it's there at the clubhouse.
I don't know. I would think the blinking lights would be a bit of a nuisance. Like, that's next level. Like, why can't you just to see if the fence works before you install the blinking lights?
You remember those things we would get as kids? You'd see it'd be like, it looked like a flower, but it'd be on a
Pinwheels.
stick, and it would blow in the wind.
Pinwheels, yeah.
Yeah, my sister-in-law put a garden out there, and she didn't want to get varmints into it, so she put these pinwheels all over the place. And where I live, our neighbor, they have, we share this, we kind of share this back area. We could put a fence up, but we don't. But, I have 1.25 acres, and they have like about 1.5 acres. But it goes kind of down a hill and so on. So it's just open. It's just an open field. And you got this thing sticking out right there in their view as they look towards the mountains. And I'm like thinking, did you even think like that you might be, by putting that up, they're like, I don't want to look at that. I don't know. Some people just can't get out of their own way. They can't see it.
This seems very personal between you and your sister-in-law.
No, it's. I don't want it to seem that way. I understand what she's trying to do, and people put up, stuff to keep birds from making nests. They put like little like pom-pom strings that are shiny. I don't know what you call those things. They look like ribbons on a present. They're very flashy, and they're silver, and they're red, and they're blue, and they put them up so birds don't land.
A lot of things in the vineyards, yeah. I see that a lot.
Oh yeah, you see it in the vineyards, you see it all over the place, and it's supposed to do the same type of thing. But I thought, well, God, this is really obnoxious. This pinwheel.
I laugh whenever I see those spikes on top of like signs to keep birds off the signs, and then they're standing right next. The birds are standing right next to the sign.
You did a good job, except you missed this spot right here.
The HOA says nearly a year of negotiations has failed, and they're asking the judge to enforce the 6-foot limit. So if you're the judge, you're like, okay, I need to make a ruling on whether or not I think this guy's goats should be killed, because that's what happens when they have a 6-foot fence. Is they kill their coyotes.
Guy's going to lose.
I mean, they're goats.
I'll tell you why. Because when you move into a neighborhood, the neighborhood was there probably before he moved in. He wasn't the first resident.
It was the rules of the neighborhood.
It was the rules of the neighborhood when he moved in. And now he wants to change it because he wants to have goats. Well, you got to move if you want to have goats. You can't have goats there.
I think what this really boils down to is the HOA hates the fact that he has goats, and they're happy that they get killed by coyotes.
I don't know why you would hate that. Goats are cool. And as long as they're contained in his yard, because the biggest nuisance of a goat is they eat everything. But, if they're not getting in other people's yards and eating their flowers.
Eaten in his yard,
and they poop everywhere. Fine. They poop everywhere. Remember we had that surfing goat come in here, and he pooped all the way down there must have been hundreds of little pellets from that goat.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think the goats should be able to live, though. I mean, not be, because what's worse than cleaning up goat pellets and worried about your landscape and being eaten by the goats is the fact that you have to go pick up a dead carcass of a goat.
I get it.
To go to
but
work.
At the same time, that's not the HOA. That's not the other neighbors. That's not the judge's issue. That is the guy that decided to put goats in a neighborhood with an HOA.
You should probably
will not allow you to have a taller fence.
Yeah, you should not move into a neighborhood that has HOAs if you have goats.
Go buy property. That's sorry, dude.
But you can't do that in Southern California.
No, well, that's why you don't live there. You live somewhere else if you want to have a goat. Go get some property.
The job market's just not, the job market in Shafter is not what it is in Laguna Hills.
You know where you could probably have all kinds of goats? In the Mojave. Out there in Barstow.
They have nothing to eat, and there's nothing but coyotes out there. You'd have to build like an 18
fortress. Doesn't matter. You got no HOAs because nobody wants to live there to begin with.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning on 93.3 KZOZ.
Hey, it's another Megadeth Tuesday. It's going to be a Megadeth Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, though. We're giving away tickets to see them when they come to the fair with Exodus. MidstateFair.com to buy your tickets. Win them again today with us. Know the show. And then one person will be upgraded to go front row. That's today at 9:40.
When you had a job in your teens or your 20s, what was the number one reason why people would call in sick? What was the
hungover? Well, after you were 21, after you were
right. But even hungover, I had a boss once, and she was like, "Hungover's not an excuse. Get your ass to work."
Oh, well, you don't tell them that. I remember one time I was so hungover. I worked at a bar.
What would you tell them? What would you tell them in place of being hungover?
I was sick. I'm like, I've been throwing up. I've got diarrhea. And my manager, because I worked at a restaurant bar, and I swear these guys are the most insensitive pricks. And they're like, well, here's a list of people you can call. If one of them can fill in for you, then you can call in sick. I'm like, that is not how it works, jackass. But anyway,
do your job. I'm sick.
Of course, I reached out to everybody. Nobody would take my call because they probably knew why I was calling. So I went in, and as soon as I went in, I could smell the food, which was really good. But just smelling that food, I ran into the bathroom, started throwing up. And I come out of the bathroom, and it had like a little hallway, just a short hallway back. And the manager's standing there. He's an assistant manager, by the way. He's the one that didn't like me. And he happened to be working that day. Lucky me. He looks at me. His name is Jason. Fat ass. And he looks with a mullet and bald head. And he looks at me and he goes, "Really? Is that what you're going to do? You're going to put on this show?" And I looked at him and I said, "Hey, I'm ready to go to work and I'm ready to throw up on customers. And I might start with you." He goes, "Get the out of here." And I thought I'd be fired that day, but he couldn't fire me. I should have sued him. But I'm not that person.
I think the number one is always food poisoning. Because food poisoning,
oh my God, Jeff. I know why you're saying this, because you used to call in food poisoning all the time. I'm like, nobody gets food poisoning as much as Jeff. This is such BS.
I did get food poisoning once, though.
Well, yes, of course, once. I have had it once. But you had it all the time. I can at least 4 or 5 times I can remember you calling in food poisoning. Or your car broke down. Or
now, imagine this. Cars do break down.
Yeah. You lost your internship because of that, dude. And actually
and my car broke down. Yeah.
But I think our boss at the time just knew that you were one of those liars.
No, she had main character syndrome, and she wanted to be the star of the hip hop radio station.
Well, she was a woman in broadcasting. Women in broadcasting. I'm going to get in trouble. I'm not going to get in trouble, but people are going to be mad at me. But women in broadcasting, there's something there. I mean, guys too, though. It's not just women. It's a personality thing. It's not a sex thing. And some of these people, man, they were nerds their whole life, no friends, and then all of a sudden they got on the radio, and they think.
When I called her and I told her the clutch went out in my car and I couldn't shift out of first, she started crying. She said, "What does this mean about our birthday party?" Because it was the radio station's birthday party. What does this mean about our birthday party? I was like, I don't know, but I can't drive down there. And she said, take the bus. I'm like, I'm never taking the bus to a job I don't get paid for.
So you know what happened? Because she was probably thinking she was going to have to miss it. So she calls me up.
She did miss it.
She calls me in. I was already there. And she goes, I need you to work a little leg tonight, and then you can come to the birthday party. And I'm like, that's fine. So they all were down there by like 7. I got there at 8:30.
Did you get cake?
I wasn't even mad at you. I was stupid. It was at one of those game places.
My favorite excuse, and probably many of your coworkers' favorite excuse, is when they called in sick at a job that meant nothing to any career advancement whatsoever. The food poisoning. We'll tell you where the best place to live, if you like to use that excuse to call out sick, is, because this place has the most cases of food poisoning anywhere in the United States.
It's Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
So casino.ca, which I think .ca is a Canadian domain.
Okay.
Not sure. They analyzed 50 years of CDC outbreak data. Complaints on social media, which probably not 50 years worth there, but as much as they can get, I guess. And traveler surveys across all 50 states. The state with the most food poisoning, the top food poisoning risk in the United States of America. And to me, this gives everybody with one of those slacker jobs that you get in your teens and your early 20s an excuse in this state to call in sick whenever you want. Oregon is the number one state for foodborne illnesses. In fact, based on the data that they analyzed, 1 in every 63 residents gets food poisoning. What are they doing wrong in Oregon? Is it like what's causing the more incidents of that?
You don't want to
one
know
per every one per every 63 residents.
It's the mentality there. It's cold, damp, and rainy. You have a lot of people that move there because they want to live off government assistance. They don't want to work. Mm-hmm. Not everybody's lucky enough to get enough money to live, or
and that's been going on for 50 years.
So they get the job, and then they call in sick all the time. Have you ever worked with somebody who is almost sick more than they're there? It happens. And I don't understand how those people still have a job, except for, they probably work for a company that's really worried about being sued.
Yeah.
By former employees if they let them go. Because, there's some people, they never come to work. And I'm like, how is this possible?
Being a manager. Imagine being a manager in Oregon, though. Like 1 in every 63 residents.
Did any of them have hair?
Poisoning?
I'd be pulling my hair out all the time being a manager there.
Yeah.
It'd be so frustrating.
Delaware came in second with another state in which people like their government benefits. 1 per every 88 residents gets food poisoning. Pennsylvania coming in third, 1 per every 93 residents. Mm-hmm. And that one, actually, they have the most illnesses over 50 years in Pennsylvania because of population base. Colorado and Nevada rounding out the top 5. Safest state in the country, Jeremy, where there's 1 foodborne illness per 3,234 people. Like, you cannot call in sick at this state and say food poisoning. They go, what's that? Get your ass to work. I don't even know what that is.
So I had to look up the top 10 things people call in sick for.
It's Alaska, by the way. Alaska is the number one state for not being exposed to food poisoning. Maybe it's because everything's frozen.
But you think there, maybe, yeah, it's frozen. I mean, they eat a lot of fish. Do they? I don't know. There's just a lot of fishing there. A lot of game. They're, shooting caribou. And all right, so mental health. Can you actually call in sick? Say, I need a mental health day or something like that? What do you say? Anxiety, stress, I can't come in today. I'm just too stressed out.
I think people call them personal days.
Migraines, headaches, intense body pain, backs. And then, of course, you get into stomach bugs, diarrhea, and the common cold.
One of my son's friends in school, her grandma, she's very close with her grandma. So she will have, she misses days of school for connection days or something like that. I forget what they call it, with her grandma, and the school is fine with that because, you're hanging out with your grandma. I mean, the school should be fine with that 100%, but my son thinks it's an outrage. It's like, I want one of those days. Well, both your grandparents live very far away. He's like, yeah, but what can I do to hang out with you? I was like, I'm always working, dude.
Your son reminds me of the people that don't smoke, but we used to be pissed off that smokers got so much break time. Well, I'm going to start smoking then. I think Meredith said, I got a bag of cigars. Kelly's like, I'm going to start smoking. Talking about the office.
And then I really, he calls it, the kids call it rage baiting. It's called rage baiting. It's when you like what I do to you all the time. I rage bait you all the time.
I'm really weak. And, really bad. It's my kryptonite.
And a little bit of Rhonda on the text line. And I'll be like, why would you want to hang out with her grandma? That's
not what I mean. Do you ever work with somebody who calls in sick all the time? What's their latest excuse? 805-543-3693.
What's the most popular? Yeah, no, that's a great question. What's the most popular excuse where you work for people to call in sick?
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
All right, say what you will about American Airlines, whether you love them or hate them. But recently they had overbooked a flight. And they were offering big time bucks, flight credits, and an actual Visa gift card that you can use almost like cash, right? To purchase wherever Visa's taken. To anybody who would give up their seat. And this used to be great back in the day. But here's the gate agent.
$250.
So $1,250 in flight credit. And then it keeps going.
Okay. For the trip credit and for the prepaid Visa card, $1,000. Ladies and gentlemen, I just need
they're running up there like, hell yeah! Give it. So back in the day, Alaska Airlines, who has been here for a while now, but back in the day when they were a smaller airline and they used to it was great. You could take a bump and they would fly you anywhere they fly for free.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, I'm going to miss this flight, but you know what? There's another one in 2 hours. Worst case scenario, the next day. But there was usually another flight within that same day, a couple hours later. You got a layover. Yeah. Who hasn't done a layover? Jeff used to do this all the time when you guys, or I remember one time you did it. We were all going to Tahoe, and you guys were flying. Ernie and I, our other friend, were driving down. We were on. We weren't together with you. We were on the other side of the state. So we were driving, we flew. I'm sorry, we flew down.
You flew down.
You were supposed to fly down from Seattle.
We were flying from a different destination.
Yes.
You guys were flying from a different destination.
And you guys
were all going to meet in Tahoe.
You guys all got off literally, you were in your seat in the plane, right?
So what happens is it was like me and my friend. We were the last two to get on the plane, and they said, "Hey, we don't have the spots for you. We'll give you a bump." And I was like, "That's fine. And they said, we'll give you a ticket to wherever you want to go, which was
that's what they used to do. You want to go to Mexico?
Yeah,
go to Mexico.
Like, okay,
wherever they fly.
To Mexico, you know,
free round trip ticket.
And I was like, great, that's awesome. But the problem is, we're traveling with some other people. Do you mind if we go on the plane and tell them, you know, like what's going on? So they know that we're not going to ride with them, and we'll come in on a later flight or something like that. And then they said, yeah. And then so I go onto the plane, and there was like 8 of us that were traveling together, right? And so I went, and some of them had wives, and these were my friends that I grew up with. And I said, hey, they're giving us a ticket to anywhere you want to go. We're gonna get on the next flight. Their wheels start turning, and they're like, well, we want that deal. So then they asked the flight attendant, hey, if we get off the plane with him, can we get the same deal? And they're like, yeah, sure, that's fine. We got to get this plane going. So then they ditch their wives, and there's altogether there's the 2 of us, and then 4 other guys. So there's 6 of us that get off the plane. Now the plane is flying with empty seats, and they have to give 6 people.
You're the reason they went away from this, you jackasses.
We ruined it for everyone. We really did.
So I get a call from Jack. I don't think we had text back then. Jeff calls and he goes, hey, we're driving down. I'm like, what? You won't be here for like 2 days. He goes, no, we'll be there. We'll be there.
Well, yeah, we got in at like 10 o'clock that night. It was fine.
It was fine, and it was great because for some reason, a lot of the guys you were flying with, their girlfriends and wives, I think there was only a couple people married.
Yeah, they didn't want to.
We're already
like, no,
there.
We're not taking a bump. We want to get there.
We get down to this house. It was kind of like what an Airbnb would be today. It was somebody's house. And so we start, drinking beer and stuff, and we were in the garage, and we start playing this game, this dice game, and I ended up winning like $1,000 off all these women between like 4 of them. Wives. I took a couple $100 from each one of them, and one of them wanted to take me down. I think I got $400 out of her. It was hilarious, and so I was like, "This is the greatest thing ever." And my buddy Ernie, who thought everything was funny, like that would be misfortunate for someone else, he was teasing everybody. It was so funny. So you guys show up, and they're all pissed.
Yeah, they're mad. They're super mad.
It's like, woohoo! Good call, guys. But the thing is, nowadays, Alaska, and I'm sure other airlines do it as well. I just tend to fly, Alaska. You pick your airline, you get your miles and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, it's crap now.
It's and it's like, okay, here's $150 worth of airline credit. I'm like, no, screw you. Nobody's going to do that.
Buy me 1 leg of a flight, then I have to pay you guys more. It's my wife. My wife is still operating like it's 2003 or whatever, that time when they give great perks, and we're sitting in the airport in Nashville, and it's a full flight to San Diego, and she's like, oh, since this flight's full, I'm gonna, I want to stay here another day. Let's just go ahead and we'll take the bump. I was like, they don't give you good stuff, or I'm not taking the bump.
Crap now.
And they're like,
you got to hold out as a team, and you don't know anybody because you're all strangers, right? But it's like when you play blackjack and you got that jackass to your right and you're like, don't you hit that card. That is his bus card. That's going to be the dealer bus card. And then that jackass hits it. I remember it's all sitting there and they're up to $850 and we're all wanting them to get to 1,000-mile credit, whatever it's called, towards your next flight. And this guy gets up at $850 and we're like, whoa, there's like 4 of us. And then everybody else turns and looks. I'm like, whoa, they're all like, sit down. He's like, nope, I'm taking it.
Bus card.
I'm
took
like,
the dealer's bus card, didn't he?
Could have got to 1,000, maybe even more. Hell, American Airlines is giving out $1,250 in airline credits and a $1,000 Visa gift card.
Maybe now's the time to fly American. If they're doing that kind of stuff, that's crazy. Like, that's my wife's dream. We were flying Southwest. They're like, yeah, we'll give you $100 off a flight. And I was like, that's the best you're going to get. So unless you...
They won't even give you the whole pop can on a Southwest flight. They put it in a little cup with ice. There's no way they're giving you a bunch of airline credit.